Welcome. This is part 3 of the real estate development experience, weeks 9 through 11. This is your host, Javon. Once again, I'm going to wrap this up. Now, okay, so as far as real estate development goes, I've gone over REIT, Real Estate Investment Trust, right? A friend of mine, my father's friend, has a real estate investment trust going on right now. It's called, Stewardship Investment. Once again, that's Stewardship Investment. And what these companies do, you have a trustee, and then you have the beneficiaries. Let's say it's basically suitable for investors with a small amount of capital to invest, like me. Whether it be $100, $200, you give it to him, they put it into a property, and then they will give you your money back plus, I don't know, 5% return, right? Bam. That's one way to accomplish projects, and that may be the avenue that I would get to when I'm starting off. Next, you have an LLC, which is the most popular form to put your company into. It's called limited liability company. What these companies do, every time, let's say, you buy a house, like if I started out as a teacher working with my capital, every type of investment or income producing property that I own, I would put it into a different company's name. That would protect me from personal liability. If I'm sued, and you watched this during my last video, if I'm sued and if I don't have the money to pay, and if all those houses are in my name, that person could take that debt that they sued me for, bring it to the county clerk's office, and take away whatever amount of property that is sufficient to match that debt. So that is why a lot of investors, the most smartest ones, have every single property, income producing property, into a different LLC. And LLC also, it has certain tax benefits where, unlike a corporation, which is next, a corporation which is shied away from real estate investors, corporation has a double taxation feature where any income that you get, it's taxed, and then when you pay dividends to your different investors, that's also taxed. So as far as real estate, LLCs are the main point, where you're just taxed once and that's it. Next, we're going to go to general partnerships. Now, with a general partnership, the property is put inside the partnership's name. The partnership is generally composed of 2 or more people, but the thing about a general partnership is that, let's say if me and Fred and Bob had a general partnership and one person gets sued, that would affect all of us, if you will. General partnership, each person is responsible for the other person's actions, if you will, right? Now, the main characteristic of a general partnership is something called joint tenancy. Joint tenancy is a legal term, which basically means that if one person dies, the surviving parties take that person's interest, right? Now, next week I'm going to go over limited partnership and limited liability partnership, which the limited partnership is kind of like the general partners, but they don't assume as much liability as the general partners. But the limited partners, though, LP, they have to be careful, because if they become too involved in the day-to-day runnings of the company, and if the company sue, they could be now assume the role of a general partner, and they could be held liable. So these different companies, I'm going to get to an LLP later, but these different companies, what they do, what separates them is the way in which they're organized, the tax benefits, how taxes are collected, and also liability. So that is how it's basically structured. Very interesting stuff. I'm learning a whole lot. I've learned finance is like, that's going to take a little bit more time because the professor is just moving fast. Great guy, but I feel that real estate finance, or people learning finance for the first time with no history in it, it should be at least a 2-day course, not a 1-day course, because it's like going up like very fast, and I really can't pick up what's going on. And, I'm like 3 steps behind everything, and I'm really studying my behind. I'm going to post a picture of my room. But it's been 11 weeks. What a semester, man. I've been out of it. Like, I've been wondering if I'm doing the right thing, but I'm pretty sure that when I'm 38 and 39 with my kids, I'm going to look back on myself as a young man. The old man will look back on the young man and say, you know what? I made the right decisions. For those of you out there, my age, trying to make it, it's hard. I understand it is. But be strong. For those of you who, believe in a higher power, one of the good holy scriptures in the book of Proverbs says that he who faints in the day of adversity, strength is small. Be strong. Life is full of challenges. But, like I said in my other video, everybody has liabilities, and Robert Kiyosaki talks about this. Robert Kiyosaki sees economics and basically the whole entire world as a function, I wouldn't say a function, but divided up into assets and liabilities. From an economic perspective, assets are anything that generate income. Rental property, stocks, bonds. A liability is anything that takes away anything that takes away money, or has the potential to take away money. So but this is an example of an economic, or economic example of an asset and a liability. But as far as life, everybody has assets working for them. A person may be blessed with a beautiful intellect, but that person, let's say, is physically disabled. Well, they have to find a way to work around. That would be a liability. It would be. They have to find a way to work around that liability. And that is what separates a champion from an ordinary person. Champions, yeah, some people are born, with a natural ability. But you have another set of special people who find a way to work around their liability. Right? So that is what I stress to you. Yeah, some of us would like to excel at everything, but the way in which you do that, one of the most important ways that you identify and isolate your liabilities and find a way to work around them. It has been a beautiful 11 weeks. Thank you. This is the Real Estate Development Experience. This is your host, Javon. Thank you very much. Stay tuned for next week. Be experienced.